All right, party people. I was doing some last minute searching on the interwebs before I clocked out, just so I'd have some relevant things to talk about beyond the midnight post that I did about Simon Parks. His stuff seems pretty crazy. If Trump did sign the Insurrection Act and he didn't post or speak about it, and it's possible that he did it and felt that the media wouldn't allow him coverage, a popular theory, that he wouldn't be able to get his message out anyway, that he would use the emergency broadcast system. But there was talks, I think, about Pelosi or somebody trying to take away his ability to use the emergency broadcast system, as well as his ability to have the nuclear launch codes. Pelosi or somebody was going to take that away from him too. I don't know. It's a big conspiracy thing. I kind of took a break a little bit of the night. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy, as I've stated before. I guess it's contrary to the 4 videos I'm now uploading about conspiracy theory going on. If QAnon is really behind this, or not necessarily behind it, but involved in it. Nothing I've ever read puts Trump at the helm. Nobody really says Trump's our guy and is going to fix everything, or that it's all Trump's fault, or any of those type of conclusions. Most people are just saying that Trump is the player, the pawn, if you will, the instrument that's making these things happen, because he couldn't be bought. That's something, some people theorize that JFK Jr. or JFK's son, I don't know if he's a junior, was working with Trump and talking to him throughout the years, trying to get things in place to essentially put him in office so that he could enact these things and fix America and make America great again, as his slogan had been. No, I don't subscribe to a lot of the notion. I've said it time and again. It's just interesting stuff to me. Definitely a skeptic. I'll trust with facts. You can tell me what you want to tell me. I'll try and research the facts. You can present your own facts. But I definitely have played detective a lot in my life, trying to look into things and see if I could find out what's what. I go to the opposing sides and listen to their counterpoints as to what might be valid. Sorry for the yawns. Long night. So I try and hear both sides and listen to it and try and find out what's not based on emotion and what is less circumstantial, and form my opinion that way. I don't have time to do these things if I'm trying to stay trending. I guess that's the problem. If I'm trying to get news out first and then fact check later, it's really hard. But anyway, if he did sign the Insurrection Act, it would kind of amount to the movement that's happening in California, Virginia, but I think that's more DC oriented. Texas, can't remember this. There's like 3 or 4 states where there's been military mobilization, and it's very likely that it's just National Guard moving into place to protect. But conspiracy theorists, I apologize again for the yawn if that came over. Conspiracy theorists like to say that it is part of mobilization of the troops per the no, I just went blank. The act that, wow, I blanked it. That's crazy. Insurrection Act, Jesus. So it could be the mobilization because of the Insurrection Act, or it could be mobilization for protection of officials in public buildings, government buildings, per the National Guard. It'll be interesting to see if these things play out. Ever the skeptic I am, I don't really think anything's going to come of this, but who knows? I still stand behind the fact that you can draw lines between things of past and present circumstantial type evidence that fits your narrative without, if you're telling a story and you don't really talk about the other guy's points and why they're wrong, it's really easy to paint a good picture. And I'm not saying that's what these guys are doing, but some of them, the tipping point guy, didn't really paint he painted broad strokes without telling the whole sides, both sides. And I could not stop yawning, I apologize. It would seem that the media's presented Trump in a very negative light kind of all along the way, with him being racist and inciting violence, and to some extent I think he really has. When he was talking about bailing people out at his rallies, if you punch the guy, I'll bail you out, or whatever the exact quote was, I'm not 100%, but he's been on record for saying not so pleasant things about women, and he's been on record for talking about how he would date his daughter, and the Stormy Daniels thing. He's definitely not got a clean slate, but I don't think anybody is pure. Nobody has a clean slate. So I wouldn't want to be punished for my sins of the past. I don't think it's fair to punish him for things he's done in the past, provided he's not currently doing it. And therein lies the issue. Some of the things he says and does would lead people to think that he's not really learned from the past. He's not. Oh, these yawns are getting annoying. Sorry, that he's not changed his stripes, if as it were. He's still saying some pretty awful things to some people, or in some people's opinion. And the build the wall, and I don't know, just some gray area stuff. I can't think of everything off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm tired. It's been a long night. But that's the other side of the coin, to try and paint the picture that Trump is this bad guy and has done all these awful things, and I'm not a big fan of everything he's done. I was really hoping, like his pledge in 2016, to open transparency on health insurance and hospitals, and try and get these bills to come down so that people. Goodness me, I apologize. That's gonna get annoying. Well, I'm gonna apologize for all future yawns. Anyway, if he was gonna make transparency for medical bills and hospital bills and all these things, I was really on board with that. I really do believe Trump is a very good businessman, even though several of his businesses have failed. There are plenty that are very successful. So I was hoping for that aspect to bring America back. And in some ways he has, and in other ways not so much. I don't have a lot of information to support my opinion. It's just kind of what I've seen as a general outlook. So I'm sure there are people that could debate that and prove me wrong, and I'll accept that. I'm not married to my opinions. That's just opinions I have currently, and if I'm presented with good, valid evidence, I have no problem changing my mind. There are theories that the Air Force is watching the airspace to make sure nobody makes a quick flight out. There's Coast Guard watching the waters. To make sure that nobody's trying to get out on private yachts and stuff. Again, theories, nothing that I can back up. And they're trying to block people leaving to Canada and Mexico, although we know how well we are at protecting our border, so who knows. Last thing I want to tag with or talk with is that I watched some of the videos finally about the police officers at this quote-unquote violent rally that were just letting people in. They were opening the doors, they were standing out of the way, they moved the guardrails out of the way, and that's not really being shown or talked about. You're seeing the tear gas canisters being thrown back and people smashing windows, and that stuff obviously did happen. I'm not saying that everybody there was peaceful and that everybody there was being respectful. I'm just saying that there's definitely another side of that narrative that can be proven, where there were people being let in, there were police officers standing aside or moving barricades. And I think that that's very important to note, that obviously there must be, at the end of the day, cops are human beings and they have their own political belief and opinions, and they might think the thing was stolen too, and so they're letting these people in to protest their side, and they agree with it. They just might not be able to enforce it, and so they let the people do the walking for them. My opinion on that, there's no fact on that. It just, you definitely can find footage now of people being let in. So it's not just people kicking over barricades and storming the Capitol, which did happen, but people were being let in as well. And I think we really just need a transparent, fair ecosystem out here for reporting media coverage. And unfortunately, that's just not going to happen. It's been really apparent from the 90s, because I'm a younger guy, that all these media outlets were biased, and I never bought into it. I just saw it. It was glaringly obvious, and I said to heck with it. So if we could get fair, clear, transparent media, which is an oxymoron and impossible to happen, I would appreciate that better. I'm sure we all would appreciate that better, instead of feeling like we're being lied to, hoodwinked, and always only shown one side of the coin. Robin Hood was a hero to the people and a terrible thief to the kings. So it's, I don't know. That's all I got. I feel like I'm rambling and trying to beat a dead horse. So thanks for joining me, guys. Please comment below. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll try and reply when I wake up. And if you have any evidence or facts or whatever, please drop the links. I'd love to read it, look into it. I'll maybe make another video going over whatever you guys post in there for me to read. Thanks for stopping by.